Find your perfect customer, Network Navigator. This is what it's all about. So what have the two got to do with each other? Why Network Navigator? And what's this got to do with finding a perfect customer? And the reason is all your customers exist in networks. You exist in a network. Your customers exist in a network. And the point is when you tune into your networks, you're tuning into your customers, and you will find your perfect customer. So, a more boring title would be Tune In, Find More Customers. But that sounds like an enticement to watch my video. Well, maybe I should have gone with that, but here we go. Hey, I got some resources. You can get them at bit.ly. It's a link shortener. Live resources. There's a QR code you can scan. And we'll be considering the importance of the 5 Ps that are part of Network Navigator. And we'll see that each has to be customized to suit a business and that they all focus on one thing. In fact, this whole presentation, all my presentations are focused on one thing, and that is the customer and customer knowledge. And to do that, we need to get familiar with them and our networks and see how our network works with the customer network, where our network is an extended network and we plan it, we coordinate our approach. But the customer network, they're just like enjoying life. We're not going to change them. We're simply going to tune into them, call out to them, to help them realize that we're here to help, and we'll sell some more stuff as a result. That's it. As Peter Drucker put it, the aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well the product or service fits him or her and sells itself. Well, it is perfectly true. Very valid statement. And the problem is that some people, some businesses, and hands up here, I'm guilty too, we get a little bit complacent in what we do, especially when we launch our business. Complacent's maybe the wrong word, but forgetful, let's say. We don't focus on all the things that we ought to, usually because other priorities arise or new priorities arise and they cloud over the most important priority, which is the priority of looking after a customer. I mean, I want to sell you this computer or this microphone, right? Well, I can tell you there's plenty of microphone and computer manufacturers that have gone bust. Why? Did they produce rubbish microphones or computers? No. They just didn't focus or even consider or understand or communicate with customers. I can point to, as I'm sure you can, a large number of technical people, not there's anything wrong with this, who don't communicate well with customers. I know for a fact that some people avoid cybersecurity because it's a technology business that involves talking with people. Some people just aren't up for it, and we each decide what we do. But when you're in business, you've made a decision, and that decision is you're going to sell stuff. That's the whole point. So you really need to get your head around communicating with customers, but like as a major, as the number one thing that you do. And, there are lots of businesses that at different times for different reasons could do more or fail to do it. Usually it's a case of could do more. Usually everyone's doing some of it. Okay, they're just not doing it in a particularly coordinated way. And that's why I've got to work with, or have got to work. I don't have to work with them, but if they'll have me, and they have had me, companies like Adobe, Barclays, Disney, IBM, Institute of Directors, Marriott, Nestle, Sony, Tate & Line, Vodafone. We've got software companies here, entertainment companies, banks, digital technology companies, music companies, media companies, all sorts of wonderful things. And I've even picked up a couple of, many testimonials on the way. One I picked out is here, one from Dan Kennedy, he talks about how I like to turn conventional thinking on its head. And it's possibly the biggest convention I want to turn on its head is the fact that we all chase technology all the time. But what we should be doing is chasing customers. called me old-fashioned. So here's another quote I love from Seth Godin. If you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. I mean, this is a classic mistake of all the politicians virtually, apart from the leading ones, right? The leading ones know to narrow down on some key areas to focus on. And we may well not all agree with them. But if they try to cover everything, well, they'll never succeed. There isn't a single issue that everyone can agree with. So the latest pitch is, for, I don't know, breakfast for kids. I don't know if that's good or bad. What I can tell you is not everyone has kids. It's just a fact. So they're trying to appeal to a majority. They found, is that a niche? I wouldn't call that a niche. I'd call it a sector maybe, but they could have gone a bit deeper. Anyway, there you go. Ours is not to argue about politics. We're talking about selling stuff. And I can tell you, the deeper you go, the more you will sell. Which seems odd, because you talk to most business owners, who do they sell to? And the answer is, well, everyone. Everyone can buy my product. Therefore, everyone's my customer. However, the problem is which company in the world, how many companies in the world can genuinely advertise and get business from just anyone? And the answer is, I don't know of any. What I do know is of thousands and thousands of customers who are there, thousands and thousands of companies who are there for their customer. And they define who their customer is. And they approach that customer with a very narrow view. We're going to help achieve something for our customer to make life worth living for them, in such a way that those customers will turn around and say, that supplier, that company, they're for me. Okay, so Network Navigator, find your perfect customer. The way they relate together is through what I call the 5 Ps. People, pitch, process, performance, and presence. Get those 5 Ps operating together, and you will just get increased efficiency, increased performance, increased results. Everything will work better, faster. You're getting more market share. Now, it's not necessarily something that you can achieve overnight. I'm going to run through this in the next 30 minutes or so, and you're going to get all the points, and you should end up agreeing with that these are reasonable points: people, pitch, process, performance, and presence. Easy to assume that, well, no, you've heard of it, you can do it all. And indeed, there's some of it that you will be able to do and will want to do, and I sincerely hope that you do make changes to the way you do business in appreciation of these 5 Ps. I hope I stimulate some ideas that you can turn into action. However, that will be a short-term result. And to that end, I've given you a QR code and a link that you can click on and go through to where you can get the resources, but you can also book a one-to-one call with me. And I'll happily discuss all these issues with you over a call, and it'll be good. You'll be able to make progress from it. I'll definitely give you some ideas for thought, and you'll be able to implement them. And I'd love to hear your progress that you make and plans that you have as a result of this presentation or my conversation, whichever it works. Invariably, though, or often enough, I should say, those conversations do turn into short-term assignments. And I like to work with people that I've never worked with before on a short-term assignment, because it allows us 2 things. It allows me to find out if I like working with you, and it allows you the opportunity to find out if you're working with me, if you like working with me. It also kind of forces our hand that within that 3-month period, we're going to facilitate some kind of change. Now, this is the most important thing that I want to see. And I know that when people speak to me, they normally have at that moment a short-term need. And so out of all the things that we're going to cover today, there's going to be one that potentially raises its head and has more of a burning desire for you. Maybe we'll target that together over a 3-month program. Anyway, having achieved a success or some turnaround, or we've moved forward on that issue that was dragging its feet somewhat, then we might go into a longer term arrangement. And I recommend strongly that we do, because these 5 Ps, navigating your network, this is not something that just happens overnight. It requires change in a business to be embedded, for these Ps to become part of your DNA. It's a route map, it's a framework. Change takes time. So whilst we can aim for short-term results and get them, okay, effective long-term change requires focus and attention. It involves, you'll see, feedback, refinement, tuning. And you really need someone who's been practiced, been skilled, exposed to these techniques and technologies, or not technologies, but they are kind of technology though. So anyway, so I'm going to use today, for an example, a case study. Now, I'm not going to reveal the real name. Well, they're very similar. I've called them threadbare because it's kind of funny. But denim shorts for women, a US company, threadbare. That's not their real name. Look, I sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. I can't reveal my sources, right? For obvious reasons. If I did that, I'd end up with no clients and no one would call me back. And I get quite a lot of repeat business over the years. Okay, so let's run through those 5 Ps, and let's look at them through the glasses of Threadbare. So imagine you're running an e-commerce store called Threadbare, and you're selling these ladies' shorts, these ladies' denim shorts. Now, could everyone buy them? Sure they could. Well, everyone who wants to dress like a woman, who wants shorts made of denim. Who couldn't? Everyone could. But will you sell to everyone? Well, I've already touched on the idea that probably not. Let's look at those people. Let's go a bit deeper. Who are those people? Well, the people fall into 3 camps. So your customers. Obviously, this is the main camp we're focusing on. But there's also your staff and a supply chain. They all need to work together with the customers. Customers need to work with staff. Staff need to work with customers. Staff with supply chain and customers. Customers rely on your supply chain that your staff are managing. But they know you don't make everything, especially when you're selling brands, third-party brands, which you would do in an e-commerce store. So these are networks. There's multiple supply chains. There's multiple members of staff. And there's multiple customers. So we might think that our customers could be eco-conscious. Maybe some of them are fashion influencers. The question is, who are, and are these issues important to them? So we should employ market research. What happens most of the time is individuals who've set up a business imagine that this might be the case and then build towards it. And with luck, they sell some, in this case, shorts. Great stuff. They think they're onto a winner, they've cracked it. But they haven't done it based on any feedback or market research. They've just been good at guessing. And they guessed well enough to make some sales. This is how most businesses start. There's nothing wrong with this. This is normal. But when you start employing profiling, personality profiling with your staff, for an example, okay? I mean, at first, we'll just take anyone who will take a low wage, right? But after a while, we realize we need to spend more money on our staff. And we need to hire the right staff to have the right person at the right place at the right time. Someone who will work well, both, customer facing and with our supply chain. Possibly talking about a rare breed. Possibly. Okay, but the key is to make sure you've got the right people in the right job at the right time, front of house and back office. And that's just your staff. But what about customers? Have you ever done market research on your customers? Or do you think doing market research might be a useful thing? Maybe eco-consciousness is not the thing. Maybe it's related. Maybe it's close, but not quite the cigar that you hoped. The result that you were expecting. Maybe results are happening by accident. Maybe sales are occurring for other reasons. They just like the look of them, and it's got nothing to do with the conversation about eco-consciousness. But you might think it is. Market research will prove it. But also what market research will do is find out not only if it is true, but what else related factors or not related, other factors are affecting sales. Maybe you're accidentally touching on those and you should know about it. Because when you know about it, you can fine tune your proposition, fix it for them, make it so that you've got a really good fit with your customer. Okay, the pitch, the third P. I'm just going to check my feed. I think it's working. Well, that looks good. The sound looks good. Let's just check over on YouTube. Well, yep. Says could do better, but you should be hearing me. So probably a lag. I can't help that. That's YouTube for you. Okay. The pitch. Develop a unique selling proposition emphasizing the sustainability and quality of the fashion items. Yeah. You know, most businesses will think of their business. They'll think about themselves. They'll think about their product. It's not until we start thinking about the customer that we start really thinking about the unique selling proposition, a proposition that suits our customer, that emphasizes, if this was a key aspect that customers were looking for, sustainability and quality. I mean, some people like disposable fashion. Doesn't mean it's good, but hey, if people will buy it and that's what you make, you've got to fit. Other people may hate or dislike disposable fashion and demand higher quality. Depends on who you're appealing to, or, put it another way, which customer group would buy the most from you. Certainly, people who want quality products are more likely to spend a higher price. However, there are fewer people out there prepared to spend higher products and higher price, more money, but there are many more people prepared to spend a lower amount of money and who would end up potentially buying higher volume. Which do you want? Well, that's an economics question. You can decide, and that might help you decide who your customer is. When you've decided who your customer is, then you can investigate them with market research and then address their needs and then deliver that product. Hello, are we still working? Deliver that product to them. Okay. Process. A lot of people spend a lot of time focused on the process, usually quality processes and throughput processes and all sorts of things. Focused on the supply chain, which is perfectly reasonable, right? But also legal requirements, health and safety, etc. But there's also customer service processes. And many times we can have a process that is vitally as important as a legal requirement, but has a cost, builds in a delay, and maybe gets in the way of delivering an exceptional customer experience. So we need to re-engineer processes wherever possible, where we need to look for delays in the process of delivering goods to customers so that we can take out those delays. Because it's like really, customers have expectations, especially if you're buying, as we are, through Threadbare, through an e-commerce store. I mean, Amazon, for example, if you're living in a city, they'll deliver same day, okay? Maybe by lunchtime if you order before 10 o'clock. I don't know, whatever their current offer is. But it's something like that. Or before 5 o'clock if you order before lunchtime. Whatever it is. But most e-commerce stores, would hope to be able to dispatch the same day of receiving the order so that you have it tomorrow. So if your delivery actually takes a week, then in comparison, the customer experience is going to be weaker. Now, why is that happening? Right? It's to do with the processes in the supply chain that you employ. They need to be optimized. Something you need to work on. Something you probably are working on. Probably something you've even got nailed. Usually quality and delivery is done, but not always. Performance. Again, looking at it from the perspective of an e-commerce store, Threadbare. Are you tracking sales? No, really. I mean, banking money and tracking sales for the accounts is one thing, but do you have access to website traffic, actual stats on an hour by hour, minute by minute day-by-day basis? Do you understand your daily sales, right, where they're happening? You know, how it affects your stock levels. Are you managing the back end to the front end? What about staff turnover and keeping the people, wonderful people that you employ? Because every time you employ new people, you have to pay double, because you've got to have one person training the next person, or that new person is learning on the job and making mistakes on the job, affecting customer satisfaction, right? Think about lifetime values. I talk to accountants about lifetime values and they look at me blankly. What's a lifetime value? Well, it's not just about the sale today, having won the sale and then disappointed a customer. That just means, like, maybe you still got the sale, but they never buy from you again. What? How about you make a sale, deliver on time, and they buy from you again and again? What's the difference in value? Well, one's a couple of dollars, the other one's hundreds of dollars. It's enormous, right? So measuring your performance, understanding what's working and what's failing, absolute key information, customer feedback, will help you to continually refine the strategy. And this is, again, something that most businesses just miss, right? They're so focused on pushing stuff out the door, pushing it out the door. I don't care if it's delivered round and the customer's expecting square. I'm just making that up. But, you know, it's just push it out the door. They got what they ordered. Here it is. What do you want? You got it? What more can I do? And the answer is, if you listen to the customer, probably a ton of things you could do more, like double your sales value. How about that? Get an ongoing stream of income. How about that? Drive referral business. How about that? All those businesses out there that say they get business by referral, you know, 90% of all businesses, roughly speaking, maybe, I think I read it was 92% of all businesses rely on referral. Great. Okay, it proves referrals, and speak to anyone in business and they'll almost agree the same. Yeah, of course, referrals are important to business. And the common refrain is, well, we get referrals all the time. Okay. How many businesses do you think have referral systems in place? And the answer, statistically, according to feedback, according to research, where companies have been called up and asked the question, right? Considering it's so important, and 92% of businesses, guess how many have systems? About 10%. Wow. So it still leaves 8 to 10% who have no systems, have no awareness, don't rely on referral business at all. What do they rely on then? Well, why miss out this free opportunity? But then there's like 90% plus who know it's a great source of business and do nothing to support it, right? Why wouldn't you maximize your referrals? I mean, they're the best kind of business. Virtually no cost of sale. I mean, there's no cost of sale if you have absolutely no system. But the systems is just really thinking about it, processing it, putting things in place so that customers may find it easy to refer. It doesn't need to cost anything extra. You know, okay, an extra piece of paper, an extra 0.2p, an extra email, 0.0001p sent, whatever, of sending that email, if any cost at all. Okay, which is, hey, if you enjoyed this, what about this? Amazon do it all the time. Guess what? Let's think about that, Amazon. Are they a successful company? Apparently so. One of the largest in the world. So presence, okay? So 2 ways of being present. One is the follow-up that I just described is, hey, you just bought that, was that good? How about this? That's you being present. That's present and correct. That's like right on the customer's journey. Do we love that? Yes, we do. That's presence. It's one angle. There's many angles, but that's just one. Another one is your visually appealing website. Most businesses rate a good-looking website by how it looks, what their wife thinks about it, what their girlfriend thinks about it, what their partner thinks about it, what the staff think about it, what the bank manager thinks about it. All the people that never buy their product, what do they think about it? Okay? And the point is, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think about my website, whether it's beautiful or not. What matters is, does it work? Okay? What matters is, does my customer like what they see enough to make an inquiry? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We get to talk to customers after the event and say, what did you like about our website? What could we have done to speed things up? How could I get you more information that would have helped you along the road? That's called optimization. That's how we optimize what we do. That's the kind of thing Threadbare could be doing. And as I showed you some pictures which are taken from the website of the women wearing their jeans. So they are modeling. They are showing the product being worn by their target audience. Wow, that's pretty good. So if I was a woman looking at another woman's legs, I could be, wearing those shorts. I could imagine myself in those shorts and think, well, look, my legs could look like that too. This is resonating with the audience, right? Because they're seeing images they can resonate with. That's what a visually appealing website is. It's for the customer to see themselves like a mirror image, but looking better or looking good. Because when we get that and our audience says, that looks pretty good, we like that, we can take those images and we can use them on social media platforms. We can use them on, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. It's just so many places we can go with this. We can expand it. And from there, we can actually even move into viral territory, the holy grail, okay? It goes viral because the more people see it, the more people it resonates with, the more people click on it. You get the snowball effect, okay? But if we're showing, plates of food, rabbits, dogs and cats, okay, when we're selling jeans, guess what we're not going to sell much of? Jeans, for example. Just nudge the microphone again. We're friends, microphone and I. It doesn't always perform, lets me down sometimes, but I love it otherwise. Live resources, here we go, bit.ly, bit.ly, live resources. There's a QR code for you. So we've considered the importance of the 5 Ps. We've talked about them in context of a real business, and we can see how they each have been customized to suit, or can be customized to suit the business. And the question is, how would they suit your business? Well, for that benefit, to land on that thought, I created a questionnaire, you might want to call it a workshop, which I've uploaded to a website. It's at the resources. You can download them, see it for yourself, run through the questionnaires, some tips, some quotes, and other ideas I put together that will help you find your perfect customer. And I'm supplying all this stuff to get you really thinking, get you focused on finding the better customer, finding the perfect customer, because, hey, you'll thank me because your business will grow, right? It's just the application of these things. So let's just talk about the key benefits of finding a perfect customer and why niching down, understanding your customers' specific needs is going to lead to some key benefits. I'm also going to share with you 9 tools. So we're about halfway through this presentation now, and that's what we're going to cover. Okay, so number 1 benefit is it maximizes your effectiveness. Tailoring increases relevance, increases buy-in. We get to optimize the resources that we employ, the people, the processes, our pitch. Everything is focused on appreciative audiences, and in turn that reduces waste and increases return on investment, ROI. Customer satisfaction. So we want this, of course we do. But it's not just about delivering a product and then being happy. We want to meet and exceed those expectations if we can. Audiences are delighted. And sometimes, often, in fact, always, it's more than simply delivering the product. It's about, well, there's so many things. I could go on for another, But for example, simply recognizing them, asking their opinion. There's just so much we could do where we value them in the process of supplying them with the goods that they ordered. So giving them the goods that they ordered is actually a minimum expectation. They expect that as a minimum. That just makes you the same as anyone else. Okay, your product might be better, but if you're an e-commerce site like this one we've just been discussing, there's other e-commerce sites they could go to. What about you, the company who delivered it for them? What can you do? Why are you extra special? But you need to emphasize that, because that way you'll increase loyalty and you'll get people to come back and buy from you again and again, increasing their basket size, increasing their lifetime value. That topic that many accountants have no idea what lifetime value is, or the benefit of it, or even think about it, because they're just booking orders, I should say, and calculating the numbers, VAT, tax, that kind of thing. So most people, business advisors, just don't understand this stuff. It's not what they do. They do money things, right? Increase conversion. Well, yeah, we all want to sell more, but how do you do it? And the answer is messages that resonate. They're the things that sell. There are no tricks, okay? We don't con our way into selling more. I mean, okay, we can do 2-for-1 deals, but we're just cutting margin, maybe even losing money. But on the other hand, if the way luxury goods companies sell products is strong messaging. So much so that those customers that have already made those decisions, decisions that they only buy luxury items, they'll know they want a Mont Blanc pen. They don't need to be sold on one. They know they want a Tag Heuer watch. They don't need to be sold on one. They're not buying they've already bought the brand. They don't need to be sold the brand. It's just really a fine-tuning exercise as to which one shall I have that looks like it could fit me. Because the big benefit is the fact almost that it is expensive, that it is all the brand values that they already appreciate, that they've decided that they want. There's that mic bang again. I'll move it next time. Okay, so targeted content and messaging can increase conversion rates by 202%, according to the Aberdeen Group. According to Bain & Company, customer retention, understanding your audience can improve customer retention rates by 56%. When customers feel valued, they not only stay, they buy more. Okay, so they're the key benefits. Let's talk about some of the tools. Here we've got audience research. Know your audience, demographics, psychographics, and behaviors. Now we're going to run through what they are and how to use them. First of all, businesses that use audience research to shape their marketing strategy see an average ROI, return on investment, of 223%. And the source, Marketing Sherpa, who I know got this answer, 223%, by survey. They don't sell any tools. Well, I don't think they do. Well, they didn't. Maybe they do. But they're a news organisation. Probably sell membership. Anyway, demographics. Age, gender, income, education, occupation. Now, it's not about judging someone based on their age, gender, income, education, or occupation. It's about selling to them, right? Some people of a certain age, a certain gender, a certain income, a certain education, and a certain occupation are more likely to buy what you sell than others. So who's most likely to buy those kind of denim shorts? Might be who's female, because they are aimed at women. So there's our gender question. We already know that one. Age. Well, might be a child. If we sell really small ones, can we get hold of them? Maybe not. Maybe we can't. Maybe we've just got denim shorts for adults or adult sizes, women's adult sizes. Okay, so we're talking about mature girls, young women, potentially, maybe middle-aged women. Older women, maybe not so much. I'm just hazarding a guess. But I would have thought that an ideal target market, out of the whole breadth of potential female buyers, there's a sweet spot. I'm not saying that the younger ones would never buy denim shorts. Of course they would if you could get them. I'm not saying the older ones wouldn't ever buy them. Some would. I'm not certain that quite so many would. And also, education and occupation. Some wouldn't be seen dead in those kind of shorts. Some people would like to go to bed in those kind of shorts. I mean, horses for courses, right? This is what it's all about, demographics. 80% of marketers report an increase in engagement from personalized campaigns when they target a specific group of people. That's what it's all about. But we can match it with psychographics. So we're narrowing the narrowing. What are their interests, their values, their attitudes, and their lifestyle? Well, it might be that group of people, group of women that live near beaches, in sunny areas. Okay, so coastal cities, coastal resorts. Possibly more likely than, I don't know, Colorado. But maybe, for another reason which I don't know about, Colorado is the perfect place, perfect inland place to be selling those kind of denim shorts. I don't know. But 72% of consumers only engage with marketing messages tailored to their interests. So I'm thinking beach volleyball, beach basketball. How many of those women, and I know women play those games because I've seen them, would also wear denim shorts? Some would. Maybe not to play the games with, but maybe to travel to the beach, to get there, or to watch others play. Okay, fair good. So if we were doing some advertising, well, maybe I might want to include a volleyball picture or image with some other women nearby wearing my shorts. Just a thought. I could test it, and then I could test the messaging that goes with it. 72% of consumers, who knows, might get a few more customers. This is what I mean about tuning. And I touched on there also behaviors, buying habits, brand interactions, decision-making processes. I talked about how some people will not even think about making a decision to buy a Mont Blanc. Other people have also decided that absolutely will not ever buy a Mont Blanc, that the price for that product is already out of reach. They do not even aspire to ever spending that kind of money. They want just an ordinary pen or a super cheap pen. Which is it? Okay? But what we've done is we've segmented our market according to decision-making processes. In this case, people who've already made decisions. Buying habits. Where do they shop? What are their favourite online stores? What do they already interact with? Are they Facebook people? Are they Google people? Are they Pinterest people? Where? Where are they? Okay, what are their behaviours? Companies that segment their audience based on behaviour see a 760 increase in revenue. Oh my goodness, this is like gold, right? All these numbers, you start piling them up, and you end up in this pillar principle of growth, of one piling on another on top of another. Growth goes like that when you start mapping these things together. Incredible. And the source of this stat, Campaign Monitor. Again, a review site. They formulate feedback. Review, it's not a review site, actually. It's they get the feedback, they correlate it, they coordinate it, they manage it. Audience insights. So you can use third-party players, like the kind I've just described, who are providing some of these information. But there's also, 67% of marketers use Google Analytics to gain insights. This is free, folks, and trusted. It's from Google. 67% of marketers. It still means that 33%, this is your competition, are not using things like Google Analytics. But be honest with me, do you really use Google Analytics? Because this is such a high percentage, 1 in 3 chance that you're really not. So instant improvement opportunity, audience insights. Start digging into your audience insights. Who visits your websites? Where are they coming from? What are they searching for? Are they really random referrals, bluebirds that just come through the window? I'm all for business from bluebirds that just fly in. I love them. Love it. More the better. I mean, from any angle. I don't care. I'm not fussy. I'll take on all sorts of clients. I'll not willingly, knowingly turn business away. That's not how it is. But for most businesses, they're just not getting enough inquiries. And one of the reasons is they're just not looking in the right places, but invariably not looking at all. Surveys and polls. 78% of companies use surveys and polls to gather audience insights, which leads to more effective marketing strategies, according to SurveyMonkey. You got a bit of a vested interest to say that. And my personal experience, in encouraging and trying to maximize customer feedback, surveys and polls rarely give you more than 2 to 3% interactivity, if that much. Sometimes more, but usually very poor results. But that's not really where the value is. There is value there. Of course there is. We want that feedback. We want to encourage it. There are other ways of doing it. You will get a higher response if you do a survey and a poll immediately after someone's placed an order, before they receive the delivery. You will then get some further follow-up at the moment of delivery, because you've just hit them in that peak of delight, if they are delighted. And one of the things about surveys and polls is you are valuing the customer, because you are saying you're interested in their opinion. You are asking them for their input. They do feel valued. It is possible to massage that and make that work for you. And that's why it's included here. It's not so much about the information, although you will get that. It's about massaging your potential customers and your customers to make them feel valued, to ask their opinion. And also, it's newsworthy to them. Say, hey, we surveyed, we polled, we asked the question, and this was what everyone asked for. Do you agree? Effectively, it becomes a new sales pitch. And we need new sales pitches. Because when we use new sales pitches, guess what, folks? We sell more. Yay. That's what we're here. Social listening. So go where your audience goes. Walk among them. 73% of marketers believe social media insights are essential for understanding their audience. Social Media Examiner. Where do you get this information from? Well, people like, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, or Twitter now, and so on. It's only the other way around. All sorts of audience insights that you can pick up. But there's really none better than turning up and being physically where your customer is. Go check out the websites that they visit. Find out what they are by asking them. Go walk among where they live. Go visit those seaside resorts, right? See the kind of stores that they can buy. See the shacks and the buildings and the department stores, etc. See the beach. See the volleyball, right? Just walk among them, because you'll make discoveries and you'll pick up language. You'll pick up messaging. You'll build a picture. More on that in just a second. Focus groups. Okay? So you can go in depth with focus groups. This is where you do repeated audience interviews. You get qualitative data. And it's based on direct interactions with potential actual customers. But you get to decide who's in your focus group. As far as the research talk about, companies that invest in audience research see a 10x return on their marketing investments. Folks, this is huge. CRM data. There's another place. Wow, it's the main place nowadays. Often that data is literally lying there. CRM, customer relationship management systems, contain a ton of valuable data. Customer interactions, who returns what, when, postcode related. So you can say, this area is really good as a customer base. This area is not so good for a customer base. So where are we going to advertise? There, right, where the customers are. Maybe we'll do some external or board advertising. Maybe we won't do it here because less customers are buying what we sell from over there. But they do buy more here. So let's switch our focus and focus on our customers. Find more perfect customers. Companies that leverage customer behavior data to generate behavioral insights outperform peers by 85% in sales growth, according to McKinsey partnerships. Amazing stat. 85%. I tell you, you start stacking this up, racking and stacking. Huge growth opportunities in areas that most businesses just aren't focusing on. This is just step one, folks. This is just part one of the overall framework. I got a ton of content to share with you, and I'm going to end this series, so please make sure you tune into the next one. I hope you're getting great value out of this. We haven't finished yet. We're more than halfway through. It's got a few slides to go. Buyer personas. I spend a lot of time in this area. This is kind of when you go to go to a room. There's a group of you, there's a bunch of whiteboards around the room, and a stack of magazines or printed material that are appropriate to your customers, pre-selected before you get there, that is the kind of newspapers or magazines or any other printed material. And we want printed material because what we're going to do is we're going to stand in groups by our whiteboard. We're going to discuss what we're here to do, which is to create a buyer persona. And we're going to go through those magazines and we're going to pull out and the print articles, and we're going to pull out the pieces that we think resonate with a client. So it could be a picture of a building, it could be certain colours, it could be certain cars, it could be a family image with the children. Remember, these are also researched, these images, by the magazines themselves that target your audience. So this is all relevant information. And what happens is around the room, these different visual whiteboards appear. Maybe it's 2 or 3 groups. Maybe it's 10 groups. Okay, if there's more than 2 or 3 groups, or even I've seen it happen with just 3 groups of people. We see commonalities appear. We see, oh well, look, after we've done this exercise that may take most of the day. At the end of the day, we'll go around and review the boards. Okay, and we'll say, well, look what we got here. We'll describe them. We'll discuss them. Why did you choose that color? What do you think importance? What value that delivers? Why that picture's important? We learn things. Everyone holds around this group, and everyone's seeing it visually, kind of for the first time. And they go, yeah, that works. I agree with it. That's a debate. That's a discussion. But we're getting visual, like more information. And then we move to another board, and it's similar or it's dissimilar, and we're comparing and contrasting. But again, we're discussing customers. Why do people buy? And we move to the third board, and we move to the fourth board, the same process. And do you know what? We quickly come to a consensus. Well, it would appear here, and here, yellow was used a lot. So maybe like bright colours, sunny colours, these are the colours of success that our audience likes to see. We'll test it. We saw builders come up quite a lot. We'll have some building shots. We saw Mercedes, or we saw Volvo. Well, we'll put some Volvos in the background. See if that makes a difference. These all become tests. And then when it comes to things like our website, how should that look? Well, it's not about how we feel, it's about how it resonates with our target audience. So it gives us a whole new dimension. On that note of our new dimension, we've considered the importance of the 5 Ps relevant to that case study, Threadbare. And we've talked through the 5 Ps and how to get the research to instill the customer knowledge that will inform us for those 5 Ps. And we can see that they each really do focus on one thing, the customer, right? As I said at the very beginning, you get more success when you have more customer knowledge. And we need to get familiar not only with them, but their networks. Mistakes? I made a few. Made this video twice without sound. Assume you know your audience. That's the first mistake. Most people just think they know who their audience is. They never test, measure, research. They just have customers. Many companies ignore demographic differences. They don't think about where they live, what they're interested in, what they do, etc. Neglect behavior patterns. Where do they go? What do they look for? What are they selecting? Why are they buying? Okay. Too many businesses treat what they sell as a commodity. They don't mean to, but in practice, that is what they do. Ignoring customer feedback. Like I've mentioned, I'm forever discovering information in CRM systems, feedback systems that are excellent at gathering information, but it does seem to me that very rarely do people actually take the time, or they need someone like me to help them dig out and generate an understanding of what's really going on. By now, you've probably got some questions. And there's some classic questions I do get, so I'm just going to run through some of them. I did try this live earlier, but we didn't get the sound, so interactivity's not quite here on this video. On the other hand, we're moving more quickly than we would otherwise. So, what tools can I use to analyze customer behavior patterns? Well, we touched on these. Google Analytics, CRM, heat maps. Didn't touch on that, but you can use them. There's so many, to be honest. Not heat maps, but there are. But so many different types of tools that you can use. I mean, it is horses for courses. It depends what business you're in. Social media insights, customer interviews. These are kind of the very least. There we go again. The very least you can do. How often should I update my audience research? Well, it should be a continuous process as audience interests change. They do, all the time. So this is why some businesses are so successful and then they just fade away. They disappear. People lose interest. What's happened is the audience has changed. should I create a customer journey map? I'm not sure if we touched on this, but it does come up quite a lot. I don't know. It's an important question because the answer is, well, yeah, if you want to increase sales, this comes up when we're talking about processes. So if you want to kind of discover what's going wrong, then, customer journey maps are the thing. Next up, final slide, really. Buyer personas, contagious, building a story brand, made to stick. These are titles of some great books. Building a story brand and buyer personas are standout ones to me. Well, all four are standout. But you'll hear a lot about building a story brand, the importance of building a story around your business and your brand. You're going to be in a much better position to write a story about your brand when you understand what the story is that your customers are interested in, right? You're going to tune the story to suit what it is that you do. You're going to meld with them, be part of them, grow into them, understand them, give them what they want. Okay? Buyer personas is this process of acquiring that information and making it work, getting closer, getting deeper into your customer. And then contagious. This is kind of into the viral marketing, but also word of mouth marketing. And made to stick is that plus some more, all of which, absolutely vital. Okay, that's it. Thanks for joining me. We considered the 5 Ps. We considered Network Navigator. We talked about how to find your perfect customer. I kind of didn't say it was easy. There's a lot to it. And also I would suggest that many businesses out there are doing most of what they need to do. But most of them just haven't gone deep enough. There's so much more they can do. So I have produced these resources in order to try and urge you to take a step further, to go deeper in your finding a perfect customer journey. And you can find it by visiting this URL, bit.ly live resources, or by scanning that QR code. And when you get there, register, and you'll get access to the resources from this event and all the other events that I run in this series. And believe me, I've got a lot that I'm going to be pushing forward on this because it's so important that I get this information out. I think that a huge sales multiplier is just so many businesses miss this. Things are going to get tougher than ever. It's not just, recession and world war. It's also governmental change and taxation. And honestly, there's so many threats to survival that we need all we can to make things work for us. And these are topic areas where you largely already have the information. This is not rocket science. This is kind of the activities that any business can do to tune into their customers. It's what you ultimately have to do, not just to survive, but to thrive. I've been lucky enough to run a couple of businesses for multiple decades, whereas the average of most businesses lasts 3-4 years. I do know of other people that have run businesses for multiple decades, some of them small businesses. And really the difference between those that kind of make it and it works out and those that don't is their focus on the customer. I just did a simple thing like cleaning an email list. And the funny thing is, it was a B2B list. And the funny thing is, not a large percentage, but there were a good number of email addresses that just don't exist anymore. And they were originally collected in 2018, so they're already a few years old. They've been emailed. But the cleaning exercise found about 45 people that just didn't exist anymore, businesses that had gone. Now, I don't know how many others still own their URLs and will bounce. I'd be surprised. I mean, the total list size was about 3,000, 50 were definitely wiped out. I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't another 150 that were just bounce, right? But anyway, the ones that are definitely gone, they had, obvious email addresses. So they were from, blah, blah, blah.com, any other business.com, .co.uk, whatever. They just had meaningless kind of, there's one called retirement plan, .com. It wasn't that good, actually. It was retirement planner in West Indies or something. I suppose that was, well, no, it's not. It's generic. Whereas the kind of companies or email addresses that did work, they're the ones that really had clarity about what they did. So if I was a customer of theirs and I got an email saying, with a match, I want, to lose £15 in a month, and I'm getting an email from lose15poundinamonth.com, there's a correlation. This is simple. But those that have no correlation whatsoever, so they could do anything, guess what? They're the ones that fall by the wayside. It seems to me. Certain amount of qualitative data in that. I don't know that it's quite that scientific, but it was a thought that occurred to me as I was going through that data that I saw. It just recurring. I just saw these like really bland, really generic email addresses. Maybe they were funny. A couple of which were kind of humorous. But humor doesn't necessarily sell. It can assist the sales process. But stand-up jokers are stand-up jokers, right? It's not to say that we shouldn't use humor. I believe strongly that we should use humor. But nor does our number one, unless we are a stand-up joker, right? It's fine to be one, but for most of us selling whatever we sell, it's not a joke. It's a serious reality of matching customer needs with the ability to deliver the goods. That's what it comes down to. But as you've seen in this presentation, in the 5 Ps, it goes into so much more areas and depth, or you can take it into more. And those that don't miss a trick, as I hope I've really made that point. And those that do just face a growing market share, growing market opportunity. And I wish you every luck, lots of success, and click on the live resources link, set up a one-to-one with me if you just need a chat about an idea that you have about how you're going to implement these ideas, and I'll happily talk through it with you. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye for now.